Are judges on food shows lying to you? This is a hot dog is a sandwich. Ketchup is a smoothie.
Yeah, I put ice in my cereal, so what?
That makes no sense.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
A hot dog is a sandwich.
What? Welcome to our podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. I'm your host, Josh Scherer.
And I'm your host, Nicole Enayati.
And today we are joined by Gail Simmons, culinary expert, food writer, and television personality. You may know her best as a permanent judge on Bravo's Emmy-winning series Top Chef since the show's inception in 2006, and I was right there watching the premiere, Nicole. And she's coming back to your TV on March 9th for Top Chef Season 20 International All-Stars Edition set in London. Gail, welcome to the show.
Hi guys. I'm psyched to be talking to you.
Us too. This is incredible.
Hey, thank you.
Psyched to be talking to you. Psyched about Top Chef Season 20 International All-Stars.
Badass.
I mean, this is, they should have just renamed it The Hunger Games because that's what this reminds me of.
Essentially, that's what it is. Yes, it's very cutthroat to the death.
Probably IP issues around that. But tell me about the new season that is coming out on March 9th. You're taking All-Stars from countries all around the world?
That's right. So the most amazing thing about our little journey, our little engine that could, is that, you know, we started making Top Chef in 2006. We have now made 20 seasons. And along the way, different countries all over the world, something like 29 countries all over the world have licensed and made their own versions of Top Chef. So there's Top Chef Middle East and Top Chef Poland and Top Chef France and Italy and Top Chef Canada and Top Chef Lithuania. I don't know. I mean, really, 29 of them. In addition to our version, which airs in 100 plus countries all over the world. And so we were trying to figure out what to do for our 20th anniversary, this kind of milestone we can't believe we're still kicking around.
That's right.
Milestone. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be amazing to gather winners and runners up, like the best of the best from all these different versions all over the world, bring them to some sort of like neutral territory and shoot a Top Chef with them. And that's what we did. So it's called World All-Stars. There are 11 countries represented, all winners or finalists from their respective countries. And me, Tom, and Padma hanging out in London for 2 months. And it was amazing. It was so fun. It kind of changed everything. It just felt really different and crazy and like something we'd never done before. And I'm really excited for you guys to see it.
I'm hyped. Top Chef is my favorite sports season. Like my favorite sports seasons go Top Chef, then it's like college basketball, outdoor track and field.
Yeah. Most food competitions are like the best sports on TV. No offense.
100%. But no, there's a reason. So a thing we wanted to talk about today is what makes Top Chef different as a cooking competition show, because not only is Top Chef on its 20th season, but every single season and every single competitor stays relevant. Like Top Chef is the only cooking competition show out there, and I'm not just trying to butter your bread over here, but that if you are in, I will, because I'll absolutely gush.
No, I feel it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, every chef testant, I know that's a branded
chef
word. It still feels silly to say for me.
I think it's still a capital C. I don't think we own the word, but we did create the word.
I'm gonna make chef testant t-shirts then in that case. But every contestant that's in the top 5, I mean, they are getting restaurant deals, they're getting opportunities.
It's incredible.
I'm one of those people. My first date with my fiance was at Top Chef Boston winner May Lynn's restaurant. Nightshade, Boston Report.
Nightshade,
Boston,
downtown LA. It was the most beautiful restaurant. Oh, I loved it. I love her. And you're right. We think about this a lot because we want to stay in our jobs. And all of us, not just Tom, Padma, and I, but all 150 of us really love making this show.
Sure.
And so every year the question becomes, how do we keep relevant? How do we stay being able to do what we've created and make it different and make it fresh and make people want to keep watching? And I think there's a number of things that have allowed us to do that. I think you hit it on the head, Josh, in that it's not about us. It's really about the contestants. Our casting department spends an inordinate amount of time year long finding people who really speak to sort of our mission of the best, people on that like precipice of their careers who we know can change the industry. And I think, and also that they have a story to tell. They need to be able to cook, obviously, at the highest level. Like, these are all professionals. These are not people who want to be chefs, right?
Sure.
These are people who have been practicing their craft for 10 plus years. They're chef de cuisines, they're executive chefs, they're restaurant owners at this point on their own, in their own right. And they are, they have a specific point of view, so they can cook, but they also need to tell their story. And, those criteria have also changed and sort of evolved and become even more important over the years as the culinary industry has changed too. So that's the first thing. We really make sure that it's about them and how to put them in a position just to make the most captivating, storytelling. Right. And then also I think the fact that we're not a studio show, we're on location, we go around the world. So this is the first season. London was the first time we did an entire season abroad, but we usually are in a different city in America every single season, a different place all over the world for the finale. We've been from Hawaii to Singapore to Italy, Mexico, all over the place. And so the backdrop is such a big piece of our story. It, the backdrop really speaks to the food that we're cooking, the history, the way we create our challenges. It really becomes its own character in a lot of ways. And it's what differentiates every season. We don't tell the same story in Charleston that we tell in Tuscany. We don't tell the same story in Boston that we tell in Colorado. Because the ingredients, the agriculture, the chefs who built those cities, the immigrant populations that traversed into those places through trade routes over hundreds of years, inform the food you eat in that place, which inform the food that we're going to get them to cook and learn. And so every season's really different. And that sounded sort of weirdly like a geography lesson, but also
that's part of it.
That's what makes us different, right? So I'm really I think it's the hardest part about our show because we every year we have to start fresh, and every year we have to build our kitchen all over again and pick up our families and move to some unknown location. But we also get to really plant roots and learn about that place both on the show and off. And I think that's what kind of makes us who we are. I think it's such an important piece of what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about having 2 internet chefs be on Top Chef? Tell your casting director.
We're just saying, Nicole, pitch us harder.
Not been. Well, I know you guys know a lot about food. I've listened to you talk about food, and I love talking about food with you and hearing you guys talk about food. But really, this is about the restaurant industry, right?
Absolutely,
It's really about pros in professional kitchens.
Absolutely.
I don't call myself a chef. I've worked in the restaurant industry for 20 plus years and 24 years at this point. I'm really, really old. And I would never call myself a chef. Tom is a chef. He's a chef. He's the demigod of chefs. But our show is about really opening that kitchen door and seeing what the real life and the skills of true professionals are. We've had franchises over the years, right? We did Top Chef Junior and Top Chef Desserts and Top Chef Masters.
Love Top Chef
and
Junior.
Top Chef Amateurs.
Oh, we can do Top Chef Amateurs.
Weren't even total amateurs. I mean, you guys aren't total amateurs. That's not what I'm saying. But it was people who are not pros cooking every single night on a line.
Yeah.
But that's what our flagship is really about. It's about the trenches,
And that's one of the things that I love about it so much is that level of professionalism. So we get asked all the time. We call ourselves chefs. We both worked in restaurants, but primarily...
Yeah, very, very sparingly, though.
Yeah, exactly. We're
but it's not what you do now.
No,
exactly.
no.
Right? And
Food
so,
media,
but a lot of
Me
people...
too.
Yeah. We'll get questions just like, why don't you ever go on Top Chef? 1, we're not eligible because we're not that type of chef. But 2... I would get kicked off immediately, and I would get kicked off specifically
because your food's bad?
By Tom, not because my food's bad. No. I fully believe that we can cook with the best of the best, but the differences are, I remember there was one season, there was a person who identified as a, quote, private chef in Napa. He was a young guy. And we, in the industry, know that the term private chef means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
That is very
And so
true.
there was a... I think there were 3 different kitchens, but they were doing, it was the first episode. It might have been a season where you started with 30 contestants and then immediately cut half of them.
Yeah.
We did do that once. Yeah. God, now you're really stretching my brain.
I'm telling you, I've rewatched every season.
Big fan,
it might have been in Texas. I think in Texas we did that. We started, the first episode was 30 chefs in San Antonio, and we immediately got rid of half of them, and that's where the season started.
And I think it was Wolfgang Puck, Tom, and then another chef were I'm going to put you through a technical proficiency round to weed you out.
Ooh.
And Tom had them like breaking,
Fabricating chickens?
It wasn't fabricating chickens. No, worse, breaking down primal cuts of beef.
Oh,
and
frick.
so, and so there's
Peace out.
Tom, who, like you said, he's I've read his book, Think Like a Chef.
Yeah.
Total chef guy from New York.
Totally.
And, if I were faced with a butcher knife and, hey, break down the primal cuts of beef, I'd be like, hold on, let me watch a 40-minute YouTube video about it and then do poorly.
Because that's how we would transfer the information,
filleting a fish, it's like, I can do it, but it's not something that I do every day on a line.
It's not muscle memory.
Right. Well, that's it. But
Yeah.
that's it. You nailed it, Nicole. That's what it's about. It's about muscle memory. It's about people who are like, it's rote for them, right? Like these are people who are on the line, cooking their guts out every single day, and also leading every day, right?
Yeah.
Because the word chef is different than the word cook. Like I was a cook for a long time, and I'm an expert. I am a professional in the industry, but I'm not a chef. A chef to me is the person who leads a kitchen team.
Totally.
And if you're not doing that, you could be an amazing home cook. You could be an amazing entertainer. You could be an amazing, knowledgeable person, as I like to think I am, but I am not a chef, right? It's just it's a different set of muscles. It's a different part of your brain.